me. Well, Unico Williams. That's right. It's your boy. Coming at you as I always love to do on a Thursday. Because, you know, Thursday is my favorite day of the week. Why? Well, I was born on a Thursday, 11:47 a.m. Woo! I'm so happy to be back with y'all. And tonight has been a crazy night. I had a whole script and all that for y'all, but things changed. And you know, you know, one of my favorite sayings in life is, God don't make no mistakes. And you know, I was gonna come to y'all on schedule, and I was gonna do the show all before the Jeezy versus Gucci versus. It didn't happen that way. Wow. I gotta say this. So let's start here. I'm huge. I thought it was Jeezy. You know, I came in the whole week. I was like, oh, Jeezy got it easy, and that's a preference, I guess. That's a preference, but I just think that Jeezy has, he has much more memorable, if you will, songs. Although Gucci has a lot of songs that are memorable. I know a couple of Gucci songs word for word, but I know more Jeezy word for word. Like I actually would listen to Jeezy, and I could know the song after like listening to it like 2 or 3 times. Like that's just how catchy every single song was. That's how that was for me. Gucci, he is what he is. I felt like, you know, it brought me back to the whole Tupac and Biggie thing. Not saying that both of them they're comparable to both of them, to those two legends, but those are two legends that just did a versus tonight. And it was like that. I feel like there was in a sense, every hood has a preference. Every hood has a different hood type of person, if that makes sense. Where I'm from, I think where my neighborhood, if you will, I feel like we were more leaning towards a Jay-Z kind of concept or a Biggie kind of concept, as far as like, you know, being a gentleman hood guys. And then, you know, the other side of my city, the south side of town, I kind of crosstown, if you will. Shout out to crosstown. Much love y'all. There was more of the Tupac. So you got the rah rah, and then you got the laid back hood guys. And you know, my neighborhood was more of the gentleman, chill guys, and then the crosstown cats. They was more of a, you know, rah rah in your face, you know, little dangerous, you know, exciting kind of thing. Where, you know, in Whiteley, it was more of a calculated thing. That's just my experience growing up. Obviously, it's not like that now. It's a lot different. Hoods really aren't so much hoods at this point in my city, but growing up in the 90s and the 2000s, that's just kind of where we were. And Jeezy was more of the, you know, towards the Jay-Z, Biggie side of things, and Gucci was more for the Tupac side of things. I've had these conversations with multiple people from both neighborhoods, if you will, and it sounds about right. And I had a great time. Like the first part of this versus, I had a great time. I got on a 10 brick mission. I just felt like I just cooked up so much dope for the community and did it in a Gucci sweater, but not for Gucci, man. Just a classy sweater. I felt like I did it like that for this particular. That's just how I felt. That's how I felt. I felt real good. I felt like, you know, I just ran the trap house, but it was a nice trap house with, like, you know, like girls that were scantily clad and just cooking up dope for me. You know, it started off with a good feeling, and I was having a good time. But it changed. I don't know if everybody else felt the shift in energy like I felt, but I felt a shift in energy. I did. And it was because Gucci, okay, they had a beef in the past, like a long time ago, like so long ago. And it was just, he started off with the whole beefing thing, which is cool. You know, it's like, okay, cool. Let's start off with like a jab. Let's start with a quick jab, see where we're at. That's fine. But then Gucci didn't stop. He kept going with the diss tracks from back in the day. And some of those, like, so the last straw was like the last time that Gucci said one of his diss tracks where he was talking bad about one of Jeezy's people, smoking on him and all that type of stuff. And it got real awkward after that. I'm gonna be real with you. It got awkward, and I stopped having a good time because the vibe was not cool. Like that was a situation where if I was in the club, because it had a whole club atmosphere. Hey, they was late. They was at Magic City. I was eating wings. I was eating wings. Had a little Hennessy, and had a little beer. You know, it was chill. I was at the club. Shout out to PTs down there on Pendleton Pike. I'll be to see y'all soon. But we had it was a chill vibe, and then like it just the vibe changed after Gucci came with that like final diss track, and Jeezy would go on to like, hey, stop the music, let me say my piece. And he would go on to say his piece, which was like, hey, we just need to just drop this. Like, it's like we're done with this. And he shouted out King Von, rest in peace. Shout out to Pop Smoke. He said something about him. He said something about a lot of this stuff that's going on right now between rappers, and not even just so much rappers, but just in general. Us as black people, man, we tend to be our own worst enemies. That happens all the time. And it's so sad. But Jeezy, I just felt like he was being what we all need to strive to be as far as like beefs and all that type of stuff. Man, somebody has to say, okay, cool, you got one. You got it. And then just move on. And then if the person that gets it, if you're not big enough to just, okay, I got that W, I'm just going to go on. I'm going to just go on about my business after that. Because that should have been the energy. That should have been a vibe, man. It was mad awkward. Shout out to Jeezy, because the whole time I'm sitting there vibing with him as like, man, this man is really being a bigger man right now. And he's not. Because I mean, I felt for him. I'm like, man, I would be very upset right now. And I'm sure he was. And he went on, he fought through that, the rest of the Verzuz battle. And that's just how it happened. And it was still very, it was the vibe was off. It was super cringy. I stopped having fun after that. I powered through it too. Like, I watched the rest of it, but I think everybody else felt the same thing that I felt. It was just the energy was, the whole energy changed. And that's the power of these phones nowadays, and like of just technology. I could feel the energy through the phone. Like, it was mad awkward. But they did So Icy, their song that they did together way back in the day. They did that together to end the show. There wasn't any hugs or anything after that, you know, shakeups. But maybe that was COVID. I don't know. But I mean, they ended it that way. But man, that was mad awkward. But let's move on. And I hate, there's no real way to segue into stuff like this, but I do want to say rest in peace to Bobby Brown Jr. I can only imagine what Bobby Brown is going through. He lost his daughter, Bobby Christina, a couple of years ago, and then obviously he lost Whitney some time ago, and then to lose his son. I'm not sure of how he lost him, but he did lose his son, and that's a lot to take. That's a lot to take. And you know, prayers up for Bobby, all y'all OGs back in the day, man, that loved y'all some Bobby and loved y'all some Whitney. My love and prayers out to y'all as well, because in a sense, these artists and things like that, they can sometimes become a part of our families, and you know, we feel like we know them personally because they're out there in the world. Everything they do is 100% out there for us to see. So, you know, prayers out to Bobby Brown and his family, and you know, all sides of it. Just prayers up, man. Rest in peace, OG. Actually, I think he's a little younger than me. I think he's 28, but still, you know, prayers for Bobby Brown. Last night, I sat up there for 2 hours and 20 minutes live, going over the NBA draft first round. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to keep it a stack, 1,000. I ain't know none of them boys up there that went on that got drafted. I knew LaMelo Ball. That's who I knew. I knew LaMelo Ball. Been watching. Man, shout out to LeVar Ball. When it comes down to parenting and being a dad, don't talk down on that man. That man did something great. 2 of his 3 kids made it to NBA. One of them would have, the last one, he would have made it, but you know he went to China and tried to steal some of that good Gucci bag, and it ain't work out. If Trump ain't do nothing else, he did help that boy get out of there, out of that Chinese jail. But shout out to LeVar Ball, man. That's 2 top 5 kids that he raised to be in the draft. And like I said, LiAngelo, actually, I like Angelo. LiAngelo, I think he was a very good player. He played for UCLA. He got into that trouble before the season even really started. But I thought he was the best one out of all of them as far as body and skill. I thought that he would have been the one that translates the best into the NBA. But all you had to do was ask Melo, can I hold a couple dollars? Can you send me a bag, man? Can you send me a bag? Y'all over there in China stealing, man. That don't make no sense. But that's all right, man. Shout out to them. But I'm telling you, everybody else in that NBA draft, I didn't much know about none of them. And I tell you, that's the power. That's the power of being seen. If we had seen them throughout the NCAA tournament, which we lost out on because of COVID, obviously in March is when a lot of lockdowns happen. But you really don't start watching NCAA basketball very much, and obviously it's very selective on TV what you get to see, what they offer for you to see. But I will say this, we did get some of the conference championships, but like I said, your real medal is tested during March Madness, and we missed out on that. So a lot of these people that got picked up last night, I don't know. I'm a huge Duke guy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Because I didn't get to see what they were made of when it's that do or die game. I didn't get to see a lot of that. So shout out to y'all that stayed and hung out with us last night, me and Ole Alpha. We went through it. We sat through like at least 23 picks. I think we went through the Lakers pick. And that's all we had for you. I'm sorry. That's all we had. I don't know them. I'm sorry. I don't know these cats. So hopefully things will be different this year and we'll actually get to see some of these next hoopers. But this NBA draft seemed like a developmental league. Like just draft a whole bunch of people you think you might be able to mold or you see something nice in them. That kind of thing. But I want to get on to Sam Presti. Sam Presti is the general manager for the Oklahoma Thunder. And he is compiling picks, first round picks throughout like the next like 5-6 years. And this is why I think, no, that's it. No, he is a genius. He's a genius. And let me detail why. Let me detail why Sam Presti is a genius. So what he's doing now, he's forfeiting the right now. There's so many teams right now that are for the right now. I have to win now. And a lot of those teams, they didn't win. The only team that was for that right now, making those trades and getting rid of everybody and doing all that was the Los Angeles Lakers. They got rid of that whole young core to get Anthony Davis because they want to win right now. Another team that did that, Houston. They picked up Russell Westbrook. They said, I got to win right now. Take my first round picks. I'm not tripping. Another team that had that going on was the Clippers. Paul George, what do you want for him? Take my first round picks. So what it's looking like to me is the Lakers became empowered for the next couple of years. And what you're seeing is the other teams in the West, they gave up so much because they wanted it for right now. And now those teams, they don't have picks and their stars want to leave, right? So he just set this up pretty much. Once he gets his players in these first rounds of the draft in the next few years, develop them, get them to stay, Get him to be homies, all that kind of thing. Get him to stay in Oklahoma City, man. He might have something going. I think it's a great strategy to have. Because let's not forget, Oklahoma City drafted Russell Westbrook. They drafted Kevin Durant. They drafted James Harden. And so what you do is you get people to become stars and you trade them away and get more first round draft picks. And you just bring them along. And that's Sam Presti is looking at a long game here. He just wants to have a consistent team. Without giving away the farm. Like he's all the mature fruit, all that, like, because we're talking about players that are 30 and up. Like, okay, the next 5 years, y'all are here, but we trying to do something for the next 10, 15 years. And Oklahoma City has put themselves, if they pick right, so the draft is going to be huge for them. If you're going to have all these first round picks and all that, because, again, he set all these teams up, yeah, give me a first round pick. And these teams are like, well, we're going to win now, so you're going to be stuck at picks 28 through 30 or whatever it is. No, he anticipated that you all would have that year that you have, and it's not going to work, and then you're going to blow the team up, and then you're going to have a bad record, and then I'm going to have a high draft pick. Along with the bad record they're more than likely going to have, Oklahoma City is for the next year or so. But you're talking about a team that could possibly have multiple first round picks that are picked within the first 15 picks for the next few years. Not just like not just next year, but like I'm talking like 4 or 5 year span. They could have some teams that their pick swap ends up being way down low. So Sam Presti is a genius, and I want y'all to keep an eye on that. Just keep an eye on it. Don't take it to the bank, but start walking there. Oklahoma City is going to be a problem. The Spurs started that stuff off. They started having the teams that they were built through the draft. The Spurs are built through the draft. No free agents is like, I'm going to the Spurs. It's never that. They trade. They get who they need at that point in time, or they just draft really well. And that's what the Spurs do. They draft well in Oklahoma City. You got 3 MVPs that you drafted. So they got a pretty good record. So we'll see what happens with that. Shout out to the Pacers. Maybe you should take note because ain't nobody just crawling to Indianapolis at this point. So I'm going to need the Pacers to start using that strategy. Collect first round draft picks. Keep them for 3 years. Do what you got to do. Let them be good. Hopefully they stay. If they don't, trade them away. Just like you did with Paul George. Trade them away. Get more picks and do what you got to do. That's how I see it. So we'll see. And they might need to tank 1 season so that they can actually have, like, get that good player. Couldn't get Zion, and I don't know who's going to be the next, like, it person, but y'all need to get that Pacers. We need to figure out how to do that. But sometimes it's just the luck of the bounce. That old ball that's just in there when they get it. The first selection goes to, we gotta hope we can get that. Let's get into the football picks for this week. We got Bengals versus Washington. Bengals are not favored. Washington is. I'm going to say Alex Smith is not done yet. Alex Smith is not done. I think that, he came back from his injury, and Alex Smith was a serviceable quarterback. So, I mean, you got them going against the Bengals. Shout out to Joe Burrow. He's having a great year, but last week he did show some of his weaknesses. I kind of feel like the Bengals will win this, but I feel like Washington's going to pull it off because Alex Smith is actually a good quarterback. So is Joe Burrow, but Alex Smith is a good quarterback. And I start thinking about, as far as backups go, you think about Andy Dalton and Alex Smith, and I'm like, I think I would go Alex Smith. Alex Smith for the Dallas Cowboys, yes, he would just throw it 4 yards every single time, but he's a good quarterback. So I think you should take Washington. We got the Lions versus the Panthers. I'm not sure how Teddy Bridgewater is going to be, but McCaffrey, he's hurt. He's not going to play. And I think that as long as you got Matt Stafford, you got a chance. As long as you got Matt Stafford, you got a chance. And I say go with the Lions this week. Colts Packers, 1.5 point game. Colts are actually favored by 1.5 against the great Aaron Rodgers. This one is going to be a chess match, and I believe that's why the spread is 1.5. Spread is 1.5 because the Colts can run the ball. Phillip Rivers isn't terrible, but you don't know what you're going to get out of him. But I do know what I'm going to get out of the Colts defense. Good defense. So they might be able to bother him. And I feel like, obviously, the Colts are a better team than the Jaguars. And the Jaguars played Aaron Rodgers pretty tough. So it could go either way. And I can actually see Aaron Rodgers losing. So I'm going to go ahead and give the win to the Colts this week and see if they can go ahead and pull this one out. So those are my picks for this week. Ooh, we got a big one. IU versus Ohio State. Number 9 versus number 3. I'm excited to see that one because IU is in the top 10 after God knows how long it's been. But shout out to IU. They have a good thing going there. So I feel like Ohio State is really going to have to show that dominance this week, and I think that we will put IU back in its place. So if you got Ohio State, I'm not sure what the spread is on that, but I'm sure it's not something crazy like 26 points or something like that. But don't be surprised if they blow them out and show them what we all about over there at OHIO, the old Buckeyes. Okay, so keep your eyes on that. This week's spotlight, it goes out to my boy, Chad B. That's my man's. 1,000 grand. Man, I ever since I met him, he's been one hell of a guy. He's a smart kid. When we were kids, we're grown now, so I'm not disrespecting or anything. But shout out to Chad B. He just dropped this song, on the flow, and it's been buzzing on YouTube as like the advertisements is like it's everywhere, man. But I gotta say, my man came through there. He's been making some real fun music lately. Like it's just fun. Like, you know how like Gucci Man, when he would come on, like there's just fun songs. Like he makes fun songs, and I really like those. And not to mention, man, my man's been dripped out, man. My man Chad B been out there in the last few videos. He been the freshest brother on the block, man. Shout out to them yellow shoes you had on. Shout out to that Tiger sweatshirt, man. That you killed that. You thought it wasn't bussin'? I like that. I like how you thought it wasn't bussin'. I like how you came out there and did that. I like that a lot. But let me tell you about now put me on to Princess Ladon. Oh, good heavens. Oh, so pretty. Oh, that girl's bad than a little bit. I like her a lot. She has bars. She's very talented. Oh, she's so pretty. I like her a lot. And I apologize if you got a man out there. I do apologize, and I am not about that action. I apologize, sir. But that girl, she looks some good, and them bars was about that life. So I'm gonna tell you that now. And she said something that stuck with me. Hit him one time, I ain't seen him in a month. Well, that made me think about something. Ladies, if you want to see somebody after you done hit him in less than a month, look no further than me. Go on ChristianMingle.com and look up Bartholomew. That's right, it's your boy. I'm a Bartholomew on Christian Mingle. Also, I'm on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all of the above. And I'm going to be on YouTube every Friday morning at 9 o'clock. Watch me while you're on the clock. Everybody working from home, y'all go ahead and watch me. Have me in the background. Just listen to me. Spotify immediately after this. We got that reaction video, Young Jeezy versus Gucci Man is coming on Overall 99 ENT is going down. So you know the deal. Much love.